Hello, this training will introduce you to MAGICPLAN, an app to create floor plans, and once you have created your floor plans, you can use them to create reports and estimates. When you launch the app for the first time, you arrive on a screen like this one. So to create a new plan, there are not a lot of options. I tap on New Plan, and then it will be New Room, and there I have more options. So let's start with the first one, the Capture option. MAGICPLAN allows you to create room plans without drawing or without measuring. And for that, we use the sensors of the device. So how does it work? Let me show you with a video. When you launch the capture, you will have a green pointer and you will aim at the room corners with this green pointer, and every time to capture a room corner, you will use the right button that says add corner. Let's start with the first one. I aim at the corner, I tap on add corner. Second one, I aim on the corner and tap at add corner. We visualize the corners you captured via the white line that you see on the screen, and we also visualize the walls. You can capture the same way the doors using the button on the left that says begin door and end door. If you cannot see a corner, you can walk, or you can aim through as if the corner were visible. At the end of the process, I recapture the first corner again, and MAGICPLAN will compute automatically the shape of the room and the dimensions. So I show you that again. Again, I aim at all the floor corners, whether they are room or door corners. If I cannot see a corner, I can walk or aim through like I'm doing with the plant. All corners are at the floor. Do not aim at the walls or the ceiling. You must aim at the floor corners. Okay? So this capture that allows you to move around requires the latest technologies available on iOS or Android. So on iOS, it is called the AR Kit. And if you want to check if your device is compatible with the AR Kit, you can go on the internet and you see a list of the compatible devices. For Android, the technology is called the AR Core. So if you want to have a list of all the devices compatible with the AR Core, you can again go on the internet and you will see the list of all the devices able to run the AR Core. If your device is not equipped with ARKit or AR Core, the capture process is a little bit different. Let me show you how. Basically, it's the same thing. I aim at the corners at the floor, either room or door corners, but the big difference is that I cannot walk inside the room. I turn myself into a tripod. So the process is a little bit more painful because walking gives you more freedom. But if you do not run the AR Core or AR Kit, you can still capture the room. Just make sure you do not walk inside the room. Okay, good. So we saw how to capture a room. Uh, Now let me show you the second option to create a room. You can draw it. You can use the square room option or the freeform. Let me show you the freeform. Let's say it's a dining room. Whenever I will tap on the screen, I will create a room corner. So I just tap on the screen with my finger and I create a room corner. At the end, I tap again on the first corner and there it is. I have created my room plan. Now let me show you how to modify this room plan. Whether you've created the room plan using the capture or using the draw feature, the first thing you can do is modify a dimension. You just tap on a dimension and then you'll see a dimension picker that pops up. On this window, you can first change the unit. If you prefer to work in metric system, you can choose options within the metric system. If you prefer the imperial, you can choose the options within the imperial system. Okay. Once you've selected the system you want to work with, you can then adjust manually the dimension. When you do that, you see a lock that appears next to the dimension, just to let you know that this dimension has been manually modified. Another option to modify a dimension is to connect MAGICPLAN with a Bluetooth laser. When I tap on the laser icon here, I can connect MAGICPLAN with a Bluetooth laser, and there you'll have the list of all the lasers that are compatible. You see Stanley, Leica, Bosch, etc. If you have one of these lasers, you can connect this laser to your device, and then once it's connected, MAGICPLAN will read automatically all the dimensions you measure with your disto. So then the process is quite simple. You tap on a dimension, you measure with your disto. You tap on a dimension, you measure with your disto. It can go very fast. Okay, we've learned how to modify dimensions. Good. I can also modify the shape of the room. First of all, I can move the walls. Okay, with my finger, I tap on the wall and then I can move the wall. Same thing with the corners. I can move the corner around with my finger. And as you can see, I don't need to have my finger on top of the corner. I just tap to select the corner and then I can move the corner without having my finger on top of the corner. I can move walls and move corners. I can also add walls and corners. Let me start with the corners. I tap on the wall. You see the white dot. This is where I'm going to add the corner. And I use the icon at the bottom that says add corner. There it is. I have added a corner. For example, if I want to add a wall recess, I add two corners and then I drag the portion of the wall in between. The same way I can add corners, I can add walls. I tap on the screen, on the wall. Again, you see the white dot, and then I'm going to use the icon that says add wall. I have two options. I can add a partial wall or I can add the complete wall. Let's start with the first one, the partial wall. There it is. I can move it around. Again, I can resize it, and when I resize it, I can again connect MAGICPLAN with a laser and use my disto, or I can delete it. Now, let's add a complete wall. Again, I tap on the wall, I select add wall, and now I'm going to choose the second option that says split room. There it is. If I go at the floor level, you see that now I have two rooms because I've split my room in two. So we've learned how to create rooms by capturing, by drawing. We've learned how to modify the room by changing the dimensions, moving walls, moving corners, adding walls, and adding corners. Let me show you another way to create a room. And for that, I'm going to use this plan that I'm going to duplicate. Okay, I duplicate my plan, and now I open it by just tapping on it, and I'm going to open the first floor. I tap on the first floor. Let's say that I have created these rooms. Okay, I have probably drawn the closets, but I have this big corridor in between. I can draw it, I can capture it, but I'm going to use the other option here that says fill. It's going to be a filler room, and it's going to be a hall. Now you see the green icon that appears. What I need to do is just drag and drop it, and MAGICPLAN will create a room that automatically fills the space left in between the other rooms. Okay? So that's the third way to create a room. There is another one. There is a fourth one. I select a room, and then I'm going to use the option duplicate. And when I duplicate, I can mirror the room or duplicate as is. For example, if I flip it horizontally, I have copied the room and flipped it horizontally. Uh, so there are 4 options in MAGICPLAN to create rooms. You can capture, you can draw, you can fill, and you can duplicate. And there is no right or wrong, okay? Typically, I usually capture the main rooms. Uh, I usually draw the closets. For the big corridors, as I showed you, I use the filler room. And if you capture an office space, I'm sure you will have a lot of very similar rooms for which the duplicate option will make a lot of sense. Once you've created the rooms, the second step is what we call the room assembly. First of all, with my finger, I can move and I can rotate the different rooms. Okay? When I do so, I'm going to uh, assemble the rooms like a puzzle. So I'm going to move the rooms around and rotate them around with my finger to assemble them like I would for a puzzle. And when I do so, you see green visuals. For example, you see this green dotted line on the screen. It tells you that you're going to align the walls. This green blob here, they tell you that you're going to stitch the walls together. So if I release the room, the walls are stitched together. There is a last one, this green blob here. It tells you that you're going to stitch the corners together. So if I release the room, the corners are stitched together. So to assemble the room, again, I move the room around and I move the pieces of my puzzle and I pay attention to the green visuals. For example, okay, this is not what I want. This is not what I want. This is what I want because I want to stitch the 3 corners together. So I release the room and my room is properly assembled. As a benchmark, it takes me 30 seconds per room to create a room, either by capturing, drawing, duplicating, or filling, and to assemble it. So a 10 room floor plan like this one would take me probably 5 minutes. That's a good benchmark. Once I have created the rooms, once I have assembled the rooms, the third step is what we call the room decoration. So let me double tap on the room to enter into the room. And the thing I can do is I can create objects. Like for example, here I have one that I can remove. Let's say I want to add furniture into my room. I'm going to use the icon at the bottom that says Insert Object. And then I'm going to choose the Furniture section. And let's start with an armchair that I'm going to put on my floor plan. Okay. Uh, Again, once I have added the furniture or an object, I can move it around and rotate it like I was doing for the rooms. Some objects can be wall specific. For example, if I try to add a door, the system will tell me, hey, first you need to select a wall because the door cannot be inserted in the middle of the room. So I select the wall, again I select the door, and now my door is in my floor plan and attached to the wall. Again, I can resize the door with my fingers, for example. I can zoom in, zoom out to resize the door. Uh, I can change the opening of the door using the rotate door icon at the bottom, okay, and move it around. If I want to change the dimension of the armchair, I can again zoom in, zoom out. But if I want to be more precise, I have another option. I can use the edit icon at the bottom to display what we call the attributes of an object. And there, I can change the dimension of the object. Again, I can connect with the laser and use my disto to measure the objects. Some objects can have more sophisticated attributes. Let me take the example of an electrical switch. I go in the electrical category and I insert the switch. When I tap Edit, you'll see that the attributes of the switch are different. For example, I can change the type of the switch. I can change the number of ways. I can enter the circuit number, etc. Each element in MAGICPLAN can have attributes. The objects can have attributes, but also the walls. If I select the wall and tap Edit, you see attributes of the wall. The rooms can have attributes. I select my room, I tap Edit, and I see the room attributes, the floor, the name of the room. For example, I can change the name of the room. And I can call it my room. I can change the ceiling height of the room. The rooms have attributes, the walls have attributes, the objects have attributes, the floors also do have attributes. When I tap Edit, in this section I can change the ceiling height for the entire floor, or I can change the wall thickness. At last, the property also have attribute. When I tap Edit, you see the attributes of the property. And there, for example, I can change the address, I can geolocate my property or change it manually. And this is also in this section that I will be able to access all the statistics. I can have the surface of the walls with or without the openings. I can have the volume, the perimeter for the entire property, for the floors, for each room. I even have a list of all the objects I insert into the floor plan. By the way, showing you the attributes, I just introduced the navigation of MAGICPLAN. On the home screen, we list all the properties. When you do a single tap on a property, you can access the different floors. When I tap on the floor, I can access the different rooms. When I double tap on a room, I can enter into the room and access the different objects, such as the doors, the walls, the corners, the furniture, etc. So, the navigation in MAGICPLAN is really hierarchical. Property, floor, rooms, elements in the room. And be careful, because all menus are contextual. For example, if I select the door, I have a menu that allows me, for example, to rotate the door, to change the door type. If I select the furniture, a piece of furniture, I have a different menu. If I select a wall, I have a different menu. If I am at the floor level, the menu is different again. So be very careful, because all menus are contextual and you need to understand where you are, because you can't do the same actions at the floor level or within a room. Another option to decorate the room is to annotate the room. Again, I go into the Insert Object section and I'm going to go into the Annotation menu. Let's start with a photo. I can drag and drop the photo icon to indicate from where I took the photo. And now I can access the attribute of the photo either by tapping on the Edit icon or by double tapping on the icon. And when I do so, I just tap on the photo icon and I can take a picture with my device or select a picture from the album. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to select a picture from my album, and there it is. I have added a photo. If I want to add a second photo, I tap on the plus icon and I start again. I add a photo from my album. The same way I can add photos as annotations, I can add text boxes. So I select the text box, I double tap on it or I tap Edit to access its attribute, and then I enter my comment. I don't want a border, I don't want to fill the text box, and I want a large font size. There it is. So now I have my text box, I can resize it, move it around, etc. I can add comments and photos as annotations, but I can also use the attributes. For example, when I double tap on my armchair, I can access the attribute, and there again I can add photos, or I can also add comments. And as it is available in all attribute windows, you can do that for walls again, you can do that for rooms, or you can do that for floors and properties. Okay, so we've learned how to create rooms by capturing, drawing, filling, or duplicating. We've learned how to assemble the rooms, and we've learned how to decorate the rooms. But when decorating rooms, you can customize all the objects and all the attributes. Let me show you how. I go in the Insert Object menu, and first I'd like to customize the menu. For example, I never used the plumbing category. So I double tap on the plumbing category, and then I activate the hidden parameter. So now the plumbing category has disappeared from the main level. It's now in the hidden category. To unhide a category, I just double tap on the category and deactivate the hidden parameter. And now the fire and safety is at the main level. Okay. Not only we can customize this menu, but we can create our own objects. I just tap on new object, and I have two options. I can create an object from scratch or create an object using the existing objects that we already provide in MAGICPLAN. Let's create it from scratch. I enter the name of the object, and then I enter its dimension. I can modify also the the 8 if I want. I can specify whether the object is resizable or not, and whether I keep the aspect ratio or not. To create the icon, you have several options, and I'm just going to show you one. I'm going to open the image editor to create my own object. So there it is. I create my own object. It's my object. I can change the color and, for example, make it blue. I'm going to add a rectangle around it, and this rectangle will be filled with green and with some transparency, otherwise I won't see anything. Great, I'm happy with the object. I click done, done again. There I can create my category, or I can insert the object into one of my existing categories. Let's choose the fire and safety. Done. So now when I go in fire and safety, you see my object, and I can insert my object into my floor plan. As you can see, when I resize it, we keep the aspect ratio as we specified. Let us say that I want to change that. I go again into Insert Object, and I double tap on my object, and I deactivate the aspect ratio parameter. So now, when I insert my object, and when I resize it, we do not keep the aspect ratio anymore. So we've learned how to create objects, we've learned how to create categories. The last element I can create is the attribute. When I scroll down, you see I have a button that says Create Custom Attribute. I tap on it, and there I create my attribute. For example, to be replaced. It will be a yes or no question, and let's say that the default value is yes. Okay, done. So now I have my attribute. The default value is yes, and I can change it. Good. So we've learned how to create rooms, how to assemble rooms, how to decorate rooms. So now let's say that I'm very happy with my floor plan. I want to create a report. So I'm going to change section. Now we were in the plan section, and I'm going to go into the export section. The first report I'm going to create is a PDF report. So I tap on the icon that says Get Floor Plan Report via email, and there I'm going to change the document layout. There are a lot of options. I'm not going to walk you through all of them, but you can choose the paper size, you can choose the way, for example, the scale. You can choose whether how you display dimensions, whether you display dimensions. So, for example, you can change the way you display dimensions at the floor or at the room plan level. You can include your own watermark, your disclaimer. You can include your logo, your email address, your contact information, your photo, whatever. Let's say that I'm happy with the document layout. I just tap on the icon Get Floor Plan Report via email, and MAGICPLAN is generating the report. It's going to be available in three different ways. First, you will receive the report in your mailbox, okay? Uh, then it will also be available on your cloud, and I'll come back to that a little bit later. And the last option, it will be available in the app. If I tap on the PDF icon, I can choose the app to open it, and I can open the report directly in on your device. So you see I have my logo, I have my scale, I see all the photos that I have created. Let's see the room we've created together. So this is the room we created. So you see we have the objects we created, the photos we've added with the comments we added, uh, the object we just created, as well as the attributes, the specific attribute for this object. So everything is included in the report. Another report you can access easily is a statistical report. Uh, Again, it's the same principle to generate it, and you can have for the entire property per floor or per room the different information such as the volume, the perimeter, the square feet. You even have the list of all the objects available in your floor plan. By the way, this statistical report is also available as a CSV file that you can open in Excel, for example. Other type of reports that we propose, you can access your floor plan as images, JPEG, PNG, SVG. We also offer a DXF file, and the DXF file is is very convenient if you want to import the floor plan you created in a CAD software such as AutoCAD or SketchUp. Other options that you can access in this export section, you can share your plan with your friends. Just enter your email address, their email address, and they will receive the floor plan. You can publish the floor plan on the web or share it with some of our partners. Once I've created the plan, I can create reports, but the second option is I can generate estimates. So now I go in the estimate section. And the interest of the floor plan is that I know everything. I know all the dimensions, all the surfaces, the perimeters, etc. And I can leverage all this data to quickly produce estimates. Let me show you how on an example. Let us say that I want to paint my room. So I go into New Item, I go into the modules, and I choose in the Paint section the Paint Walls and Ceiling module. This module includes two tasks and material. First, I need to prepare the walls and ceiling, and then I need to paint the walls and ceiling. Let me show you on the second item how it works. I tap Edit and More to see all the options. Each task or material has a name, an SKU, a pricing model. In this case, for the paint, it makes sense to price it per surface, but you could price it per item, like an appliance, per length, a baseboard, or per hour, manpower, for example. So the paint is priced per surface, and I have several options again. I can price it per square feet, square meter, tile, sheet, can, etc. For the paint, can makes sense. The price of my can is $28 and the coverage is 100 square feet. I am painting the ceiling and the walls, so the total surface is 564 square feet. And I will need 6 cans and it's going to cost me $168. If I don't paint the ceiling, now the surface is 384. I just need 4 cans and the total cost is 112. We can even be more specific than that. For example, let's say I don't paint this wall. Now I just need 3 cans and it's going to cost me $84. Surface is 272. If I don't paint this wall, surface is 253, but I still need 3 cans and the cost hasn't changed. Let me show you another example. Let's say I want to redo my flooring. So I go in the floor section and I choose the parquet flooring. There again, the module includes 4 different tasks and material, and we compute the number of cases of parquet flooring I need. I even have options. If I don't like the Armstrong oak, I can choose, for example, the Cinnabar, and the price is a little bit different, so the price is adjusted. So as you can see, creating estimates in MAGICPLAN is just dropping task and material. You can regroup those tasks and material into modules to make it faster, and it can go very fast. Now you're going to tell me, but this is fine, but this is not my prices, or these are not my tasks and material. The same way you can create your own object catalog, the same way you can create your own questionnaires in MAGICPLAN, your own attributes, you can have your own price list. I'll show you how in a few seconds. First of all, I'm going to go again in the export section to generate the estimate report. Again, I can customize, same thing as we've seen previously. Again, the estimate is going to be sent to you via email. It's going to be available in the app and it's going to be available on the cloud. The estimate includes a summarize per category. You have a detailed breakdown of all the tasks and you even have a breakdown of all the tasks and material you need per room. Okay? So now let's talk a little bit about the cloud. As I was mentioning, in the estimate, I have used my catalog, and this is probably not the one you want. So let me now introduce you the cloud. You can access your cloud by going at cloud.magic-plan.com. You just log in with your email and password, and you'll be able to access all your plans. The information that will be available for your plans will be very similar to the one you have in the app. So you'll have access to the location, the statistics. You can also open the 3D view of your plan. You can access the different floors, the different statistics. So I'm going to show you the 3D view now. Okay. There it is. So you can zoom, you can pan, etc. By the way, this view is also accessible in the app. I open a floor and I have a 3D button to view the exact same 3D view in the app. Be careful because the menu is contextual, so if I select a room, I don't have access to the 3D button anymore. Okay, so the same way you have access to the floor plan data, you also access the estimate and the exports. By the way, in the export section, you have a piece of code that you can embed in your own website in order to include the 3D view into your website. There is a section on the cloud that is not available in the app, and it's called the workgroup section. It's the icon at the top right. When I tap on this section, I enter a different section of the cloud, and the workgroup is very useful if you have a set of team members using MAGICPLAN. The idea is that if you have several team members working with MAGICPLAN, you want to share the catalogs, you want to share the questionnaires, you want to share the price list with them. And you don't want everyone to create the same catalog, the same price list, or the same questionnaires. So the way it works, first of all, you invite users. You just tap on the invite user button, you enter the email. Your team member will receive an email, and when he accepts the invitation, he will become a member of your work group and access all your specific customization. In this section, this is also where you create your price list. I'm not going to go through all the details, but it's pretty simple. You just download an Excel template, you complete it, and then you upload it again on the cloud, and last you refresh the app. To refresh the app, you just go on the home screen and swipe down. There it is. The data are refreshed, and now the price list is available in MAGICPLAN. We have a help section in order to help you build your price list, so if you have any questions, I would refer you to this help section. At last, in the workgroup section, you can create your own custom export button. In the app, when I export a plan, you have some specific export buttons, like for example the floor planner, the Home Depot button. You can create your own with your own logo and your own description. This is where it happens. That way, all the exports will be centralized. If you want, we can also give you access to a set of web services in order to integrate MAGICPLAN in your workflow, and for example, connect MAGICPLAN with your CRM. That way, you can feed MAGICPLAN with data coming from your IT system, and then export back from MAGICPLAN data into your IT system. If you're interested, please contact us and we'll be happy to help. That's it for the cloud. Now, I'd like to show you a few tips in the app. First of all, when I tap on the cloud icon here, I can see all the floor plans that are available in the cloud and not in the app. And if I want to download a floor plan, I just tap on it and download. Now it's in the app, and I can open it, access it. If I want to delete it, I just tap on the three dots and I delete it either from the app, from the cloud, or from both. In the account section, you can create your account. We just need an email and password. In the help section, you have a lot of videos and FAQs. Please note that the help is contextual. If you want to access everything, you just tap on all and then you'll see all the videos and FAQs. You even have a search engine. Typically, if I want to see all the lasers supported by MAGICPLAN, there it is. We offer more help on our website. When you go on MAGICPLAN, magic-plan.com, at the bottom you'll find the how-to and support section, and in the support section you have access to an email which is support@magic-plan.com in order to ask all the questions you have. Last, I'd like to show you how you can use MAGICPLAN to map the outside of your building. When I tap New Room, I have two more additional options that we didn't talk about. The first one is pretty straightforward. You can, if you already have a plan, you can take a picture of it and redraw over it very quickly. The last option, the land survey, is there to help you create the outside map of your building. When you create the building layout, you can generate the building layout using the ground floor so that you don't have to redraw everything. If you prefer to map, you can map using a similar drawing feature as we have for the freeform. The big difference is that while I am drawing, I'm able to modify, for example, the angles or the dimensions. Okay. So while I am mapping, I'm able to edit the dimension and the angle. One last tip, where you're inside a room, sometimes you can accidentally move walls or corners. We have a button that says freeze walls, and when you activate the freeze wall, you're sure that you will never accidentally move a wall or a corner. If you do, it's not a big deal. There is an undo button at the top right that allows you to cancel the last action you made. Thanks a lot for listening to the tutorial. I have one last piece of advice for you. You won't be able to master MAGICPLAN in 5 minutes. You need to be patient. Typically, I think that you will need a couple of hours to master the app. But once you do, I do guarantee the 30 seconds per room, so 5 minutes for 10 rooms. Typically, the first capture you will fail, the second will be better, and the third one will be fine. Again, do not hesitate to contact us if you have any questions. We'll be happy to help. Thanks again for listening. Bye bye.